another degree, I take it.
Yeah, so I didn't do another degree. Well, until now, I went and I studied holistic nutrition. So that is where my passion for nutrition kind of started up a little bit, coming down. Like after years and years of working in IT, I was vegetarian, and I started looking more into why people should actually live healthier lifestyles and how a diet could contribute to that. And so that's kind of where my head was. And then when I studied holistic nutrition, which kind of gives you a bigger idea of not just what you eat, what you think, how you think, and what you do on a regular basis, how all of those things contribute to your health.
So I take it that you were doing that some time before you came back to do your graduate study.
Yeah, I was actually went to Toronto to study holistic nutrition, and that lasted for a year. And then a couple of months after that, I decided to come back.
So how long have you been in Canada now?
If you include my time in Toronto, it's 4 years. I've been at Memorial here for 3 years now.
So that was my next question, is how long have you been studying? So when you came here, were you totally set on what exactly you wanted to study?
Yeah, it is an interesting situation, because I had an idea of what I wanted to do based on what my background is in holistic nutrition. And I remember looking through the list of supervisors in HKR, and I saw Dr. L.A.'s profile and what she was involved in, which involved healthy lifestyle and, wellness. And then I said, listen, this is the person I need to work with. And we started emailing each other, and she would even, if you talk to her about this, she felt the same way that I felt. It's like we had a really good connection over email. We didn't meet each other, we didn't actually speak on the phone or anything, but we just kind of saw the benefits of working together.
She said that I would enjoy my interview with you, and talked about your background in holistic nutrition. I had talked for maybe just 2 minutes during a meeting with her about my sort of background, and she's like, oh, you're going to enjoy your conversation with Richard. And I'm a big believer that people kind of fall into each other's laps. It's not just coincidence. I really feel like there's just things outside of us that bring people together. And so for me, we're both kind of in the same school, and so it can be easy to, come into paths with people. But once again, how many people who are undergrads are going to come into contact organically with grad student? It's not that, simple to do. We're not going to be in the same class or anything. But once again, I work with the Walkability Lab, and you were talking to Dr. Fuller, and it just lucked out that way. And your supervisor is Dr. L.A., and I'm taking a course of hers this semester, and so it all just lined up really well.
Into place, yeah.
And I was kind of ranting to a friend that night after meeting with you that it was just such a great experience. I may have actually had this show that night, and I remember saying that I just was experiencing profound gratitude because I had met you and another person who's going to come on the show. I had met both of you guys in like a 48-hour window, and both coming from this healthy lifestyle and positive energy. And it just made me feel so great, because I've really been in this period of isolation for a while. And most of that is just because of, academia. It definitely, you have to remove yourself from a lot of things and people. Not that I don't love the people in my life. I had them turn out to celebrate my birthday just last weekend, and it was beautiful. This Saturday.
So you're celebrating this Saturday?
I celebrated last Saturday, but my birthday is actually this Saturday.
Well, happy birthday in advance and belated, I guess.
Thanks a lot. Yeah. But I will say, never felt younger, never felt more energized. Which is funny, because I would always say, like, oh, I'm 21, but I feel 61. And you know what? Now I'm 26, and I feel 16.
Yeah, and it goes back to a point that you made earlier about how do you get results, or how do you know you're getting results, or what is your motivation to continue doing what you're doing? And you said, okay, I look at myself every day, and I tried, you might not see results right away, but one of the really good indicators is how you feel. And if you make small changes, because that's basically the best way to do anything, is to make small changes at a time, especially if what you're trying to change is something that you've been doing for a really long time. And then you kind of listen to your body again, and you say, okay, this change made me feel a little bit better. That is your motivation right there. It doesn't have to be something that you see. It's something that you feel.
I could not agree more. As I said, for me, it was quitting soda. Mm-hmm. And whenever people come and they say, I want to do what you did, what do I do? I just say, give up one thing.
Yep.
One little thing. See how you feel, and just take it from there.
Mm-hmm. And that is, if you're accustomed eating a certain type of food 2 or 3 times for the week, how about you eat it 2 times or 1 less time than you're accustomed doing it, or even less of that. If you want to say, okay, this is the food that I think is making me unhealthy, eat less of it. You don't have to cut it out altogether. Just eat less.
So when you started doing this graduate program, was your goal from the get-go healthy lifestyle? This is what I'm going to study.
Yes, I think it kind of was that goal, because what I wanted to do is to supplement or complement my background in holistic nutrition. And when you look at holistic nutrition, as I said, it's holistic. So you look at changes in diet, you look at changes in supplementation in most cases. That's because sometimes when you change, when you look at what actually holistic nutrition is, it's about finding the root causes of problems that people have. So you get diagnosed by a doctor, because we are by no means doctors. I can't tell you what's wrong with you unless a doctor says this is what you've been diagnosed with. So I'm not a diagnostician at all. But if I know what you have been diagnosed with, now I'm in a position to try to help you get to the root cause of that. And by addressing the root causes, you're not just addressing symptoms. You're not trying to treat something and keep it in control. You're trying to find out what's causing it and to try to get rid of it altogether. So that would involve maybe changing your diet, supplementing if you realize that your nutrition levels are not what they're supposed to be, but you eventually want to get to a level where you could keep that supplementation level up with a proper diet. And you want to change your mental health, and to make sure that you get rid of all the stresses and stuff that might be job related. You make sure that if you work out well, you need to rest well, and by doing that, you want to actually make your lifestyle better. And you don't want to just follow instructions that I'm giving you, or follow the instructions that your doctor is giving you, and once those instructions aren't there anymore, default back to what you were doing before. So it is about moving from changing your behavior to changing your lifestyle. And that is one of the hardest things for someone to do, is to change what they are accustomed doing because they really want to, not because someone's telling them that they should do it. And that's how I felt looking at what the meaning of a healthy lifestyle is and how it is sustained, which is really the research, the topic of my research, is going to contribute to how I help clients in the future.
And these interviews, have they been your primary source of data collection?
Yeah, because I'm looking at it on a really subjective level. It's not a quantitative study, it's qualitative, because I want to understand what people do. And it doesn't only mean that what you do in terms of exercise is going to make you healthy. It looks at what you eat on a regular basis, how you deal with your mental health, and how you make sure that you are always healthy, and based on what priority you give yourself. If you want to be mentally healthy, there's people who do that on a regular basis. Everything that they do contributes to that mental health. There might be some people that need to make sure that they look good, so they always work out, and they make sure that they, as you were talking about, you either cutting or you bulking, right? So they because they need to regulate what they look like. And there are other people who just realize that walking every day or being outside contributes to them being healthy. So
I take it that you've talked to people with a wide variety of opinions on what a healthy lifestyle is.
Yeah, for sure. And that kind of just fuels the research.
So about how many interviews would you say you've conducted so far?
I've done 8.
8.
Yeah, and I plan to do, I might do 2 more, but I think 8 is good enough. My supervisor, Dr. Ellie, said she was going to be happy if I did 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But yeah, and it is about information collection, and it is about you expressing yourself and me now interpreting that data and finding substantial or getting substantial results.
So I know that a lot of this is definitely stored away in the confidentiality agreement and all of that, but just vaguely to generalize, have you been startled or just surprised by anything that someone said about their interpretation of healthy lifestyle?
Yeah, I actually, there was something, not startled, but something that I didn't actually knew was important. And as important that I thought it would have been to some people. And one of the things was what we talked about was about body image. You would think that people who have healthy lifestyles don't care that much about what they look like, but
anything but the truth.
But
I
yeah.
will say that from personal experience.
But it is one of the motivators, I think.
Well, I couldn't word it any better, and I gotta thank you for coming on. It's just really nice to speak with someone who has such a positive outlook on health. I cannot thank you enough for bringing that positive energy onto the show, Richard, and I hope to have you on again to talk about plant-based lifestyle and your opinions on more specific areas of nutrition. But sadly, that's all the time that we have for this episode of Annii Gets Healthy. So to all of my lovely listeners out there, once again, I encourage you to follow me on social media. You can find me on Instagram at Annii Gets Healthy, Facebook as well. That's ANNII Gets Healthy, on Twitter at AnnieKHealth. And you can also email me at anniegetshealthy@gmail.com. If you like the podcast, if you want to listen to other episodes or save this one for later, you didn't get to listen to it all, you can find the show on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and very shortly it should be up on Google Podcasts as well, or the Spreaker website where I upload. And also CastBox is the newest place you can listen. So all of those fantastic platforms you can go to listen to the show. I thank you for tuning in, and until next week, please love yourselves. I look forward to talking to you again next week.